Welcome to Invincipod, probably the best podcast about the Amazon original series Invincible on the internet. I'm James.
I'm Ralph.
And we're back. It's Thursday. I'm very confused, but Invincible comes out on Thursdays now, so we are coming out on Thursdays as well.
Right. And I'm sick.
Oh, okay. All right. I can
yeah,
do the heavy
it's
lifting
pretty
this
bad.
week if you need to just relax. Ralph had a
Yeah.
very, very busy day yesterday.
Yeah. The problem is I have a hard out at 11 because I have to join on another podcast immediately following this. So
Let's get into it.
I'm
No fucking around this week.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to this because a new episode of Invincible. It's not that simple. Freaking just jam packed. Like Stevie was like, "Was it like 2 hours long?" I'm like, "And that's 51 minutes."
Yeah, they just pack so much in. It's amazing. But I mean, yeah, it's not that simple to do an episode of Invincible, and this one comes out of the gate like it just picks up immediately where we left off. It's almost as if this was made as a double episode, or at least the first half of this was still just cut right in the middle. They just went, yeah, cool, roll some credits there, that'll do.
Right.
Because it picks up and we've got Rex with the gun to his head. And then a bullet through his head. And I was like, oh shit, okay, Kirkman's doing some stuff. They are changing things.
Like, that's the thing. So I'm like, okay, they know the overall series of the comics, and they probably have a pretty good game plan for an end date for the show. So is Rexplode necessary in the grand scheme of things? Probably not. But so I was like, you know what? Maybe just
if they are bumping up, if they are just compressing down, then let's just kill him, and it'll be a shock to us who know it all so well and know that he's meant to still be around for a little while longer. Like, I mean, I say a little while longer. I mean, as far as I'm aware, Rex is around for a long time. Like, yeah.
And then so he gets shot in the head, and I'm like, okay, he did it, but it's weirdly off to the side.
It's just a little bit. It's like Robert Carlyle in that Bond movie.
Yeah. The world's not enough. So I'm like, okay. I'm like,
it's still comics, and there's still some stuff.
Yeah.
But then, like, immediately we cut over to Mars and Shapesmith. Also, like, it looks like he pops or something, and I'm like, all right, that one I'm not so sure about because it seemed ambiguous, and he's also a shapeshifter, so he might be able to just go into some goo or whatever. Like, so I wasn't as worried, but I was like, fuck, are they just clearing house in this episode? Are they going to do one of those episodes of Walking Dead or an issue of Invincible where they just massacre everyone and it's almost resets the status quo? And it's like, Mark's back, Eve's joining, like, let's just go with the new Guardians. But no, that's not how it works. We didn't lose either of them. Shapesmith's fine. And
Drinking Ray's still around.
Drinking Ray was back from the insides, just got swallowed. So, you know, probably just made it harder. She's messed up, but she's alive.
I'm much happier this week.
Kate's seemingly dead, though. They at least play it like she's dead. And like, my theory of it being a ploy or a little scheme that her and Immortal have cooked up to essentially quiet quit the Guardians of the Globe. Like, the way he's beaten up and broken up, I don't think it's that, unless it's something that she's doing and she hasn't told him yet. Because he's taking it very hard. We talked about it last week. I love that despite jamming so much into each one of these episodes, it takes time for quiet moments.
Yeah.
And that scene after the funeral where Immortal is talking to it's not Black Samson, who, you know, makes sense, they go way back. He's talking to him and he's like, I don't know why I feel this way. Like, I've been in love before. I've lost a lot of people in my time. He's been around for a long time, but this one hits him harder, and that's really sweet and it's really tragic.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like, again, that's the thing with the show versus the book is, in the grand scheme of things, is Immortal necessary? Is his relationship to Kate necessary
Mm.
for the story? Probably not.
No,
You know,
no,
we have
you can trim them if you need to.
no.
Yeah,
The comic was supposed to go on kind of forever, and then they're like, "Okay, we're gonna wrap it up at
yeah.
issue," I forget, it's like 144, something like that.
It's in the 140s. Yeah,
Yeah, and so it's one of those things where I'm like, Kirkman can do whatever he wants, and if there's characters that don't serve the story he's trying to tell in the show,
yeah.
he can change those all around, which we've seen. Um, so it is interesting. We get a lot of Rick and
Yeah.
William.
Rihanna Rick, as I wrote him down in my notes.
Right, he's definitely acting the same as Donald. Like, it's
Yeah.
very much inferred, implied that
I mean,
he's got the same treatment as Donald did.
yeah, and Donald knows, and so he's kind of pissy that this is now a thing.
Yeah,
And Rick doesn't know. It doesn't. I don't know, or but he maybe suspects something, or maybe he does know. Maybe that was sort of Donald was like, "Fuck you! If you're gonna do this to people, you
yeah,
have to tell them. It's not fair for them to not know." Because yeah, Rick doesn't seem great about it, but he's there. He's a cyborg now, I guess. But I don't know. I feel like there's gonna be more story.
I think it's a cool storyline because I don't think this was tackled in the book. The fact that, D.A. Sinclair turned Rick into a cyborg for
Yeah,
evil, and
yeah.
now this is no different. Like, Cecil's doing the same thing, is turning him into a cyborg.
He does come
For
back.
what reason though?
That's it. Yeah. Rick does come back, but pretty much in the books, as far as I can remember, like William will pop up now and then. Amber pops up once or twice after the breakup, which we
Yeah,
get a lot of seeds for in this episode. But it's those characters, the sort of Mark's normal quote unquote life characters, definitely start to take a backseat in the comic.
right. And we brought it up last week about Amber and Mark's relationship going strong, and it sounds like they may be moving away from it. But again, is Kirkman going to be changing stuff?
Don't know.
Is he going to try
It's
to make
interesting to
Amber?
see.
He can do whatever he wants. He can make Mark
I
and Amber work, but
I think
the seeds are planted.
yeah, there was the hug last week, and then there's another hug like from the opposite direction this week with Mark and Eve. There's conversations and the comfortableness between Mark and Eve that I think
Right.
seems to have gone between Mark and Amber, and that scene where they have their coffee and it's a coffee date, and I mean even like the swirl is broken hearts on both of them.
Right.
It's it's breakup coffee, and they both sort of say, "Why does this feel awkward? Why is this so weird?" It's because Mark's not really been there. They don't. Their lives are moving in different directions. They've got a lot of love
Yeah.
for each other. They've got a lot of time for each other. They really, in an ideal world, they'd want to make it work. But I think they both know that it's not going to. It's a very mature relationship and breakup, really. Like, and I think that's nice. It makes a change. I think it's a sign of what the show is in 2024 as opposed to the comic in 2005, probably at that point.
Yeah. 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 Also, the thing with Rick is why Rick, but then also, is Cecil doing this to other people?
Others, yeah.
Is he hiding Rihanna men in plain sight? Will they be
Yeah.
activated? I mean, as a
Mm.
contingency plan, I feel like that's something Cecil would do.
He's got plans on plans, he's
Yeah.
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Like last week when Donald was like, I thought I had full white room privileges, and it's like, you do, to the point that I need you to. Beyond that,
Yeah.
you don't. Yeah.
Right.
Before we get too far away from it, when we find out that Rex is alive, he's all messed up in the head. Like he's back, he's alive, but there's definitely some brain damage, and he's a husk of himself, sort of, but he's still annoyed as all hell that he got shot in the head. And
Yeah.
he takes it out on King Serpent. Is it King Serpent or Prince Serpent? And he beats the crap out of him with his stump, which I just thought was so gross when you realize, okay, he's punching
Okay.
him. And then it's like, oh no, that's the stump hand. There's no hand there, it's just bone.
Yeah, it's poking bone. And here's the deal, like, it's animation. I've seen RoboCop was the first R-rated movie I saw, and it was super
Yep.
gross. I've seen
Terminator
like
2 was for
Starship
me.
Troopers.
Alright.
I've seen so many gross things, Dead Alive, Evil Dead. But Rex, with the blood shooting out of his head and punching with his stump, was fucking disgusting.
It was grim.
And I'm like, I didn't mind the Omni-Man scene in episode 1, but this just felt so much different. There was something about
this Kirkman and Otley having the time of their lives.
Which I'm fine with, but it was like, I don't, maybe it's because I'm not feeling well. I don't know what it was, but it was just like this is fucking gross. And I didn't, usually I'm like, it's like, oh, this is gross and I'm laughing. This was like, this is gross and I'm like, I'm like wincing.
We found Ralph's line. That's amazing.
I don't know what it was though. I don't know why.
Yeah, it's something about it. It's
I think
the open wound, the fact that it's the bone, like, you know that bone's not sitting right. It's everything about it. It's,
maybe it's the fact that we go to Rex's POV and it's just wrong. You can't hear anything the dude's saying, and it's blurry and echoey, and he's just saying kind of words that maybe aren't.
Do we know why he survived? Like, we don't know really. It's just like, guy just sort of got an errant shot.
I've heard things. I've heard people getting shot in the head and being okay.
It does happen. It's like, it doesn't normally happen in media. Like, I think it weirdly happens probably more in real life than it does in media, but like, it's still nuts.
I mean, look at like Fight Club.
Yeah, true.
You know, I've heard, I don't know. I've heard like, you don't, it's not like an automatic dead thing, but
no, that's video game rules.
But it was so, I don't know, there's just something about it that just hit me weird. Definitely hit me weirder than any of the other stuff we've seen. Like the Viltrumite holding his guts in his hand. Like, even that's like, oh, that's
the face in the train and everything. Like, yeah.
I don't know if even in the comic books we ever see someone just get shot in the head. And we saw the previous, whatever his name was,
one of the other
Cobra Commander guy.
Yeah.
You get shot in the head, and it's like, it didn't bother me, but for some reason this one I was just like, man, this is so jacked up because Rex is just like struggling.
And you, like, I feel like we knew that, okay, he gets the title drop moment in this when he's like, I'm practically bang invincible. But then you know that as soon as it comes back to that, he's just gonna drop down. Like, he's done. And it's the way that it was paced. It was obviously gonna happen.
Yeah.
But it was still like, oh, he might be dead. That might just been like a last gasp of life.
Yeah.
But yeah,
Mantzoukas plays it great.
I'm
really liking his
almost serious version of Mantzoukas, but he's like all squirrely, he's lower toned, it's everything about it.
Yeah. It's good. It's good, but it was definitely one of those things that just caught me off guard.
Yeah.
And was just like gross.
Yeah.
It was just totally gross. And then Ray coming out.
Yeah.
As soon as they had that long shot on that dude's neck, there's just a sitting there, and I'm like, okay, keep on being there. I'm fine with this camera just being there, because I'm like, that means something has to happen.
Yeah.
And I'm like, you hear the cough, and I'm like, perfect. I'm so much happier now.
She's just fine. She's back.
She could still be on my team in guarding the globe, which is broken today.
It's a week, and we're still at that same checkpoint.
So right before the show, I collected my week long
Oh, okay.
gear for the alliance. So
Yeah.
anyone else in their alliance, this is a great time to remember when it is to do your
So it's
get
really
the
annoying because
awards.
I think I might have done mine the morning of last week, so mine is
Yeah,
tomorrow. So I've got to do it the day
yeah.
after, but it's fine. It's close
Well,
enough.
I did it earlier this morning, but then I also did it again right before the show.
I had to
So
reset
now
it.
it's resetting to before the show. So it's my reminder.
Maybe.
It's kind of broken today. There's an Allen event today
Mm.
where Allen's is supposed to be in your recruitment area
Mm.
permanently. Like he's always
Oh.
going to be in there for the next 24 hours.
Oh, that's cool.
So there's a chance to get him every single time
Yeah.
you go to recruit someone. Hasn't shown up, and it's done a
Oh,
couple refreshes. So I'm like, oh, something's broken. I'm sure
yeah.
they'll figure it out, and I'm sure they'll make up for lost time. Also,
Yeah.
one of the events, one of the GDA events that's going on right now, I can't claim my reward. I
Oh.
just get a spinning wheel.
I was having problems like just opening the app yesterday. There seemed to be some issues, so it maybe
Yeah,
there's gonna be an update, a bug
and
fix or something.
there's an iPhone update as well. So I did
Mm,
that this morning. Um,
could be.
so I'm
Yeah,
hoping
not
that kind
working
of
with the
fixes
iPhone
everything.
update or something.
Yeah,
Yeah, something's not talking. But
but
tell you what is talking, and who is talking? Oliver's talking,
Oliver's talking. Yeah,
and
and
he's
he's
named
named
as well.
Oliver, and we can
Yeah,
just
we can
start
finally
calling him
say it.
Oliver.
We've been
We,
sort of saying it on and off for probably about 3
yeah,
years.
yeah.
But yeah, it's Oliver, everybody. Mark's baby brother is named Oliver, and he won't be a baby for much longer because I feel like even in the course of this episode, he
He
ages.
grew. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
A
Which I'm
little
fine
bit of
with.
time passed, and it's great. And we get the introduction of his nanny, who is working for the GDA, played by Callista Flockhart, which is nuts.
Oh, really?
Um, yeah, I just happened to pause it at that point because I was out of
Oh,
work.
and then the
Um,
X comes up,
and
the
the X
X-ray.
comes up, and yeah, it's nuts. And yeah, I was like, geez, they just get these names for what should be relatively small parts.
Yeah, I'm still looking for Tim Robinson. I don't know if we've
Yeah,
seen him already or not. I'll have to
uh,
check the
I I
IMDb.
haven't
I think
noticed yet.
I think the last time I checked the IMDb, he wasn't on there yet.
Okay,
So maybe I can't think of anybody. He's not Russ Livingston.
no.
Um, is Russ Livingston also Ben Schwartz?
Yes. He's
Because
playing them
it
both.
sounds like it sounds like a weird, like a really toned down
He's
Ben
playing it straight.
Schwartz.
He's playing him like annoyed but serious, and it's
Do
so
you want
not the
to
Ben Schwartz that we normally hear. Ross
right? Do you want
Marquand
to
is
talk
playing
it,
like so many other voices. Ross Marquand is like having conversations with
Rudy?
himself,
Yeah,
Rudy and Immortal, and a lot of people.
is the, do you want to talk about Russ Livingston for a second, just
Yeah,
to
Ross
bring it up?
Livingston just
I
sour, understandably, but
Oh,
yeah,
yeah. I mean, Cecil couldn't have like cleaned up the place
yeah,
before
really,
putting it back in,
yeah, he definitely had
but
eyes on it.
yeah, he's coughing up sick with little guys.
Yeah,
Um, but I just want to bring something up because it's kind of it's a little bit of an annoyance, and it's such a people. So on X, so you watched the
oh,
show last week.
uh huh,
On X, I mentioned that there was an animation error on Russ Livingston when he first gets taken over by Shapesmith. When he first gets taken over, the flag should be upside down because chronologically, later when he's in the shuttle, it's upside down, and he fixes it right way up.
hmm,
That's it.
yep,
It was like maybe a second of animation that got messed up, or it was an oversight, and it was like no
yeah,
big deal. And I posted it on Twitter, and very tongue in cheek was pretending it was a bigger deal than it was. I feel that's very clear, um, and uh, and I just used it to say how much I love the show. Like if you
yeah,
guys
yeah, yeah,
make
yeah.
it's a minor mistake, and I'm like, if you guys do this like 10 or 15 more times, I'm out of here.
Yeah, everyone loves baseball.
Which is yeah, everyone's baseball. It's a joke. Otley, we love you, but your tweet really showed us some Invincible fans that we didn't know existed, which are the
Oh
asshole
no!
ones.
I mean, it's Twitter X.
So
Like it
right.
doesn't count as real places anymore.
So this is where I stand back because it has 1.9 million views. I don't know if
Holy
you know
shit!
this. Right.
I don't open that
This
up
is why I'm
anymore.
bringing it up. So Rotley, that's how he
Rotley, I
signs
like
his.
it. Yeah.
I got the
Oh, but
Madman
yeah,
artwork and it's signed Rotley. Ryan
that's
Otley.
weird. This one he signed Ryan. That one Rotley.
Huh.
I've got two different Ryan Otley's signatures. His actual signature on them is both Ryan. I think. But the printed one that was on the print before, like,
right.
is slightly different. That's really interesting.
That's
Never
funny.
noticed that before.
But he took our tweet and quoted it and just said, "True Invincible fans know the answer to this." And we got so many things like, dude, do you even watch the show? They even watch the show. They should delete their podcast and stuff. And some people were really cool. Some people were really cool, and they're like, no, guys, they're right. This should have been upside down before, because and those people I now follow, they're awesome. The people who called us idiots, the people who called us the R word,
Wow. Man.
And the person who called us the N word. I'm like, holy shit, guys! Like,
I mean,
what are you?
Elon's
what are you
just giving them
doing?
a platform. Like, I mean, in one respect, I'm glad, because like they can all just sit there, let them sit in their little cesspool of horrible hatredness. Like, and fucking have it. No one cares.
I'll tell you this. I'll tell you this too. 100 or 1.9 million views on this tweet. Countless just people just ripping into us and telling us we don't watch the show, when it's like,
I've seen it.
I read the comics and I'm watching this show so closely that when he
noticed
literally hit him on the head, I'm like, okay, it's cool. He gets the flag upside down, and I noticed it immediately. It wasn't. I only watched the episode once before we did the episode of the podcast, and I'm like, it's something that I'm so steeped in Invincible that I'm not like a super expert, but I was waiting to see that.
You noticed a very minor detail, like,
and it's on screen for tops 2 seconds. It's not on there very long, and I'm like, it's such a minor thing. Nobody noticed. You didn't notice, but people saying I don't watch the show is insane, because I'm watching the show probably
so closely,
way too fucking closely. I replied to Ollie. I'm like, well, I
knew this was a joke, right?
I know it's Shapesmith. Like, I know that it's just an animation error. Like, continuity wise, the flag should have been upside down from the jump, and it wasn't. And I noticed because I'm so fucking into Invincible. So it was really funny. Like, a lot of people, like, one of my favorites was, he's like, it's crazy that people are trying to dunk on you so hard when they're clearly wrong. And I'm like, I don't know what to say. I said, thanks, you get it. I kept telling people, thanks, you get it, to everybody that came to my defense. But holy shit, man. And then the thing is, I'm like, okay, cool. I don't really care. I know I'm right. 109 or 1.9 views on this tweet. Great. Maybe more people will find the show.
Hey, even if some, like if we get like
no new followers, no new followers, nothing. And so it's fine, because most of them were assholes anyways. But a lot of the people who were cool to us were like really cool to us. And a couple, like, there was like one person that said, "Oh, my bad."
There you go.
I'm like, okay, cool, thanks, one person. The rest of you can go kick rocks.
I hope that Otley got the joke. I hope that anyone else who
and that's the thing,
worked on the show gets the joke. If they don't, sorry that it doesn't work. Like, it was a joke from the jump. Like, we mentioned it last week on the podcast, but like,
it's a minor thing.
But like,
I feel dorkier even pointing it out.
Yeah, but seriously, like, I just don't like that. It's done. It's
so
over.
Be sure to follow Invincipod on Blue Sky.
Yeah, where people are nice still. But But hey, it's, I mean, I guess it's sad because those people do exist in this, but I think they just
Right.
exist on Twitter no matter what it is. So fuck it. Who cares?
Yeah.
Moving on.
Yeah.
It's pretty fun. It's pretty
Yeah.
funny.
I
Oliver's
think the
super cute.
I think Ryan Otley owes us a little bit of a an
Guest
apology, and
appearance.
we'll have to come on the show in
You'll
order
have
to
to.
do that.
Ryan, like,
Ryan,
now we're
go over
entitled. Now
here.
we're entitled white bearded men. Now we belong on Twitter.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah, Oliver, super cute. Him saying "brabra" to Mark is amazing.
Right. Yeah.
What a cute kid who's not gonna hurt anyone ever and do bad things or like, yeah, be totally normal and nice and just a stand-up member of society for his entire life.
Yep.
Yep. That's Oliver, folks. Um, I really liked the scene with Cecil trying to recruit Eve because the team is depleted, and
Again, another nice and quiet scene.
yeah, and it's an interaction that we don't really get much of, is
Yeah.
those two, and it's interesting to see the hand that he plays with different characters and the sort of the forcefulness that he will play with different people. He knows how to interact with folks. He needs to make it Eve's choice to join the team.
Right.
Mark, he's scared of. Mark, he feels like he needs to be a bit more forceful with, I think. Whereas Eve, he's like, I'm not scared of you. He should be. But he is like, I want it to be your choice because you're more powerful than you're giving yourself credit for. And I think that's really good. I think that's a really strong choice from his part and from the writing point of view. And then we also get like that thing where he knows that she's got a visitor before Amber even rocks up. Like it's just subtle things.
Yeah.
I like where they've moved her treehouse to in this as well. Like
where is it exactly? It's clearly somewhere near the college.
Yeah, it's not there. She's not gone too far. It's not like she's gone to Africa
Because
like
she was
did
in
the comics.
Africa. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. When I saw
it was more
Amber
of a
just
safari
walk up.
house. Yeah.
Yeah.
But I like it. It's very like she's just gone into the woods essentially, and she's living in a very Kashyyyk coded treehouse. It's very Kashyyyk, which we love to see.
Right.
Star Wars connection though. Art's back. Art Rosenbaum's
Art's
back. And it's so nice to see. As soon as we see him before the voice even kicks in, I'm like, yeah, now we're in for it. And it sort of just reinforced for me that, I mean, the title card does it, but we're getting the blue and black before the end of this season.
Oh yeah, 100%. I mean, we're about 70% through the title sequence or the title card.
Got 2 episodes to go, so
yeah,
we're gonna get it if not next week in the finale. Probably save it for the finale, I would think at this point. And it was great, and I thought having it here, it's even though he's not going to get it in this scene, it's going to plant the seed in Art that it's like, hey kid, I noticed that you've gone through some changes. How about a new costume? And that's cool. I'm into that. I'm looking forward to it. I like that he's the person that Mark goes to for the fatherly advice. I think that's really sweet. He's always been around. He's always been a friend of Nolan's.
Yeah,
but
I like that.
It's kind of like an uncle figure.
But he had a reason to go. I'm like, why would Mark go here? Why isn't he talking to other people? But it is because he knew Nolan. But also, Mark is looking for these books.
Yeah.
So the whole thing with the books was a nice sort of reason for him to go to Art, sort of in the first place. Like he's talked it over, probably, with.
I don't think he knew that Art had them. I think it's more a case of like he was just like, what do you know about my dad's books that I might not? Like it came up in conversation, but it's, hey, you were friends with him, you knew him. Like my mum threw all his books away. I've read his travel books, but there's nothing seemingly there. What might I be missing? And a lot.
Yeah. And what's great is we get to see inside some of the books.
we get that issue. So that's an entire issue of the comic, and I love that issue.
Yeah.
It's like it's one of those very special issues. Like the Amber and Mark having sex issue where it cuts over to Alan the alien.
Alan's story, yeah.
And then it cuts back, and then it cuts back to Alan. Like it's similar to that, and it's Mark sitting down and reading it. They do it in the space of 5 minutes in this, but in that it takes a whole issue, and I think we get a couple more than just the 2 stories that we get in this. But yeah, we get to see Space Racer, Space Rider in the book, so it's the slight tweaks.
Yeah,
and it's not Battle Beast, but who's the other one? The like that species. I can't.
Oh, I don't remember.
I remember the look. As soon as we saw the look, I was like, okay, it's that guy, but I can't remember the names.
The stories are great. We're gonna get into that stuff. I don't know if we're gonna get into that this season.
Probably not.
Space Racer.
Space Racer. I can't imagine. I mean, Battle Beast hasn't been back this season. We know that he's kind of in that crew of mercenaries / other very, very powerful beings that they're going to be recruiting. We teased it a little bit last season, so a few years ago when we saw Battle Beast. Really early, we saw Battle Beast.
Yeah, I have a hunch that Battle Beast may show up this season, wherever Nolan is in that place.
Ooh, in that
possibly.
Prison. Yeah.
It looks like Nolan's mad. I think he's going to be able to have the energy to just bust out of that place.
I mean, it's very, again, I'm going to always relate things back to Avatar when I can. It's very much like Uncle Iroh doing his training and stuff like that. But it's good. We see more of Craig, General Craig, who is the guy with the monocle. He's just angry. He's really good.
Right. Alan's back. Is trying to recruit Invincible.
He's beefy.
Immortals. Yeah, Immortal's not
happy.
Holy crap. He's
this definitely like his grief, but it's also him super scared of anything coming to Earth from outside because of everything that's gone on recently. And he's slipping. He's not thinking straight, which he hasn't been for a while, but the Kate death is pushing him over. And I love the way they did the conversation. I'm pretty sure that's similar to how it plays out in the comic, where it's like, I know it's a design flaw. It only goes one way. I can only have one conversation at a time telepathically. There's no multi-call function of the telepathy talk, which is good. The fact that they were having those conversations and we see Amber at the party when Mark is going back to his dorm and he's putting that sock on the door, I was expecting Amber to like walk up to the hallway door, see the sock on the door, and then William to walk from the other direction and her to go, huh? And it to cause some like typical teen miscommunication nonsense. But they didn't do it. They didn't do that. Yeah.
Melodrama.
Instead, we just got William being like, come on, I want to go to bed.
I think those guys could handle seeing Alan.
I mean, no, he hasn't seen Alan, has he? William's seen another alien. But he saw
Seance Dog.
Seance Dog, yeah. So I think he could at this point.
I think he could handle it. But
again, like seeing Alan now against regular humans, we get to see just how beefy and big he's got. It's huge now. Yeah.
And I like that on his home planet, a sock on the door means the same thing.
Yeah.
And they also have douchebags.
Yeah, douchebag. And that's when you get like the Seth Rogen-ness of it. It's like, it means some people fucking. It's like, it's just.
I would have never have cast him as Alan. In a million years, I never would have thought, oh, he's the guy. But holy crap, now that's all I hear.
So perfect. So perfect.
It's really good. It's really good.
We could talk about it every week, the voice casting in this. I think it's the best cast. Because you've got amazing animation shows that have got really good voice talent of really good voice actors, but this is a show that's just going voice actor, like on-screen actor, whoever is around, whoever's the best person that we can get for this role. Caliber doesn't matter. You can give Oscar winners in bit parts, and you can have voice actors who have only done like one or two things in major roles, and it's cast so well. I don't want to harp on it every week because it's going to get boring for people to hear, but it's amazing. It's the best
Yeah, it's really good.
cast voice show, maybe show ever.
Right. And they're like I can't say it. They each get a moment to shine,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
You know, Ross Marquand and Jason Mantzoukas both had really good moments in this.
Mhm.
Um, I don't know, man. It's just they're really nailing the comics. Um,
It
the not a lot of action in this
really
episode,
Mhm.
with the exception
it
of the beginning.
it makes me think that, like, and it makes me glad because it just feels like, obviously, so many of these people worked with Kirkman on Walking Dead or know of the caliber of things
Yeah,
like that. So he's got his stable, but all those guys and all those people come back. And it makes you go, oh, he's probably a good person to work for. I don't think, like,
yeah.
I mean, other than what's his name, who's directed, like, those exec produced Walking Dead for the first couple of seasons, horror guy. Uh
Oh yeah, 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 yeah.
yeah, who he really
Rob
annoyed because
Cohen, not Rob Cohen. Was it
no,
Rob? No. Oh
directed The
shit.
Mist.
Yeah.
Yeah,
It's
and Green Mile, that guy who the relationship seemed to sour.
Frank Darabont.
Frank Darabont, yeah.
Yeah.
And also the original artist of The Walking Dead and Kirkman had a falling out. Um,
Not Cliff Rath. No, he
no,
came
no.
on. Charles
Um,
Aldair? Charles.
oh, maybe something like that.
It was one of those two dudes.
I could look back. It's back there somewhere.
Rathburn?
No, I think he was cool. He was doing inks and stuff later. I don't know.
I
The
can,
original
I'm
artist
gonna look it
is
up.
going to
It's
look it
gonna
up.
drive me nuts.
They're the only two, like, relationships that seem to have soured, but everyone else, all the talent, like all the on-screen people, he seems to have just developed this
Tony
whole.
Moore.
Yeah, Tony Moore. There you go. That's it.
God.
And it's like, it's amazing because everyone just seems to want to work with him or is happy to always work for him in so many different capacities. It's lovely to see. Yeah. So, but Mark is invited to join or at least go and meet with the Coalition of Planets. But he's like, I can't go back to space again. I've only just got here. I've only just got back. Which I liked. I liked it. It's tightening it up, and I like that Alan isn't forceful about it. He's more accepting. He understands. He's like, well, shit. I guess I'll go back and deliver a message. But Mark gives him the books, so they've got something.
Right. Yeah. And I hope they work. I'm sure they will.
Yeah. They might skip over the recruitment. It might just be a case of, like, those guys are now there next time we see the Coalition. But I think I'm sure that we see Mark in front of Thaddeus in one of the trailers. I'm sure that we've seen that shot. So I feel like he is going to still get that this season.
Yeah.
We'll see.
Yeah, more space stuff for Mark in the future for sure.
But before then, we've got to get Angstrom Levy is back.
Yeah.
He's in the end of the season. This is a shot that we saw in the trailer, right? That him going to that tailor. Because we talked about the tailor, and I definitely had seen that. And this is the post-credits sort of sting of this episode. And it's a case of, like, hey, don't forget, we've still got this major threat coming.
Yeah. So we have, what, 2 episodes left?
2 episodes left. I feel like if this Invincible War that we've been teasing is coming, I feel like it starts next week and then it goes into the finale.
Oh, you think so? You think it's going to start? You don't think it's going to be the teaser?
Oh, maybe.
For season 3?
Maybe.
I think it packs so much into 2 episodes.
They pack a lot into every episode.
Yeah.
I don't know. That walk, though, it felt like it was with purpose. And it was like, I loved the fact that he was jumping through dimensions and we get a bit of everything. Because
dinosaurs,
it's a shorthand. It's a shorthand for, like, he's just collecting things and people from everything. But yeah, we get some Walking Dead.
Hey, listen, I'm all for it. If they start the Invincible War,
did he pick up Dinosaurus? Did he, like, is that how they're going to bring Dinosaurus into it? Is he come from? That'd be a cool way of doing it.
Dinosaurs has to be in the show.
Yeah, he's got major. I'd say he's as big as Angstrom in terms of like villain level.
Yeah.
And fascinating
Yeah, I
story.
don't know. I don't
Fascinating
know. 'Cause I'm
story.
trying to think where
Loved it.
else we can go, any, like, open threads that we have where we can go with the rest of this season. Sequid's still around.
Yeah, that was a
Sequids
surprise.
have been the big thing. I mean, this season's only been, what, 6 episodes so far? And
Oh,
that includes, like, the first half, the first 4
yeah,
we did.
yeah.
They're packing a lot in, but I feel like as far as thread goes, Mars is taken care of.
Yeah.
The Martians are gonna go take care of the Sequids because they can't penetrate their skin. Um, um,
We've got
Amber
Sequid on
and
Earth though.
Mark seem to be,
They'll
moving
I think they're
apart.
gonna I
Uh,
think they're gonna get towards that. I don't think Zazie Beetz will be a series regular next season. I'll say
yeah.
that.
Oliver's situation has been seemingly taken care of unless there's some stuff going on with the nanny,
He's
which there probably is, but
he
whatever.
is calling Debbie mama, even though
Yeah.
she's still reinforcing, "No, I'm not your mum. I'm raising
He
you, but I'm not your mum."
but he recognized she's wearing a necklace the way that he was playing with the Thraxan mom's
Yeah.
necklace, saying,
That's a good
she says, "I
catch.
hope you
You even
remember. I
watched the
hope you
show,
remember."
Ralph. That's a really
I
good
don't
catch.
watch the show. I should
Yeah.
delete this podcast. And I'm an R word and an N word, and
Yep.
we are both idiots. And
Oh, yeah.
but it's
They do have that bit right.
yeah. I mean, listen again. I'm not like a crazy expert. Like I'm not like photographic memory. If you want that, go to the Invincible podcast. Those guys are great.
And
But
they're paid to do
I
it.
mean, yeah, yeah, and they get people on. They've been doing it for I think almost 10 years now.
Yeah. That's great.
Those guys.
Good.
Yeah. This is our 13th regular episode or
That's nuts.
14th regular episode.
That's
You
nuts.
know, it is, um, but I mean, listen, like I love this show. There's so much packed in. I don't know if we missed anything um
I
in
had
this week.
notes just so that we wouldn't, because that's the point that we're at, is I just need to
Yeah.
make sure that we hit everything. But I think we've got the episode covered.
Yeah.
Um,
Really enjoyed the episode. It felt like I can see people complaining about it, like nothing. Maybe they say nothing happens. There's not a lot of action. It's all front loaded. But this feels like an Invincible comic.
yeah,
You're getting like all these threads. Um, some of them are closing up. Who's taking care of Oliver? Closed up. We know where that's all set up. Um, Amber set up, closed up. Maybe we'll see. There's probably going to be more, but for the most part, Sequid is taken care of. So now it's time to get to Engstrom Levy. So I'm assuming, yeah, I think you're right. I think we get him
start the
next week
Invincible
in
War at
full.
least. Yeah,
Looking at the trailers for the second half of season 2, I can't say there's anything in the trailers we haven't seen already.
that's
I
exciting.
think I
I
think we
love.
might have caught up. I can't think of any other shots
I can't.
that were in those trailers that we haven't seen yet. So
I
um
love that.
the
I
next 2
love that.
episode might be all, you know,
Surprise. Like
surprise. Yeah.
it's great. I love
Yeah.
it. Love it. It's always fun when we get that with Star Wars shows, seemingly at the moment only ever showing stuff from the first half of their seasons and
Yeah.
things. It's
Yeah.
it's a good way of doing it.
Yeah.
Um,
And with like
you don't.
Space Racer in there in the
Yeah.
trailer, it's out of context. And I'm like, oh yeah, he's in this. And it's just for that bit.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm trying to think and I can't think of the only thing we haven't seen from the trailer was the quick flashes of the Invincible with the cape.
Oh yeah. But so
So
Invincible was happening. It's starting at least.
yeah, yeah. So ooh, I'm excited, man.
I'm very excited.
Like any sort of in the comics, any sort of the big events like the Invincible War, Viltrumite War, there's all kinds of wars and things that happen that are coming.
Hmm.
It's nice that like at the end of season 2,
We're here.
chances are we're going to get to the Invincible War. That's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Um, uh, but it's exciting, and what's great is we know we're getting a season 3. I
Yeah.
have a feeling it's going to be sooner than later. I bet
I
like August
hope
or
so.
something. or maybe
I was gonna say
September.
sort of like October, but yeah,
Yeah,
either way, if it comes this year, I'm so happy.
and I feel like they have to be already working on at least season 4, hopefully
I
season 4 and 5.
I feel like we should get an announcement of it at the end of this season.
But we already know that they've already announced season 3, so would they already start talking season 4 or
Ah,
5?
you got to have some announcement. You got to have something for the week after the season finale, just to keep that hype train rolling.
Yeah, that stuff works too, because
And then you
whenever
can do a teaser and a release date at Comic-Con. And then at New York Comic Con, you can drop the full trailer, and
yeah.
then you roll it out just after New York Comic Con. And Comic Con, you drop a special episode that they've done as well, like Atom Eve and Explode, like that special.
Yeah.
Do that, and then bang into the next season.
So this show's a miracle. I can say it every
It is.
week. This show
It
is a
is.
miracle.
So I after the first one back, so after last week's episode, there was some criticisms that I heard, and it was everyone was saying like, we do love this show. The show is really good, but the pacing of it feels weird, and they were thrown off because of the gap in between episodes. And I don't know, I'm not feeling it because I
It
hate
feels
being
like
that person
books.
who's like, yeah, I hate being the
Yeah.
person who's like, oh, but I read the book, so I get it, and it doesn't feel jarring to me when you're jumping around so many different storylines.
Dude,
But
when it takes you like maybe 4 minutes tops to read one floppy
that's
issue
it.
of Invincible and then gotta wait a month, like, I feel
It's like
like the
at best a
patience
month, like
it's
sometimes
helping
3
that.
months, 4 months. That was a book riddled with delays.
Yeah, so I feel like it's for me, it's already baked into the Invincible story is waiting,
Yeah.
so it doesn't
Yeah.
bother me as much. Um,
140
it's
whatever issues came out over the course of what, over 10 years?
yeah, something like that.
It's like it took them a while.
Right. But I mean, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with the waiting,
It's worth
because
it.
A,
I think that's the
it's
thing.
a
It's
miracle
worth
that
it.
this actually is happening.
Yeah.
Um, I'd wait another, 2 years
Don't
for
say it.
season
Don't tell him.
3,
Don't tell him.
but it's not
Don't.
gonna happen.
Good.
Kirkman said we've already waited the longest, and I trust that dude.
Oh, that's good. That's
Um,
nice.
yeah, the between season 1 and season 2, it won't happen again. I think they were kind of caught off guard how popular it was, how
I
well
think
it
so
was
too.
received,
I think so
and
too.
they're like, "Oh
And then there
shit!"
was a
So
pandemic in
let's
the way.
tell them, yeah. And then they probably said, "Let's tell them we're doing season 2 and 3,
Yeah, that'll
so
give
that
them
they know
something.
that, like, listen, we know it's a wait, but Invincible
Don't
isn't
worry.
going anywhere."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So you know,
It's
they
great.
do that sometimes. They do that sometimes where they just
And it
like
doesn't surprise
I
me. Like,
remember
I don't. Yeah.
the Green Lantern sequel was announced the weekend of Green Lantern's release, and I'm like, they're trying to make it seem like it's a big deal, and it's not gonna work. Like,
No.
and it's been 13 years, and there's no Green Lantern sequel.
Ralph, I think you need to give up on that one.
No, there's well, here's no, I'm gonna give up on that one, but
Yeah.
there's these rumors about James Gunn announced the Green Lantern show.
Yeah.
And there's rumors swirling around that Damon Lindelof is going to be show running that. And what he did with Lost, I haven't seen The Leftovers. I probably should.
I really
Um,
want to see. I watched the first half of the first season and I was enjoying it, but then something happened and I dropped off. But I hear that
yeah,
that show gets and stays amazing.
yeah. But then like Watchmen, I heard
Incredible.
Mrs. Davis is pretty good. I need to watch Mrs. Davis as well.
Oh yeah, I didn't realize that he
But
was on that.
but like if it is Damon Lindelof working on it, man, I can't wait
Yeah.
because I know at least some care will be put into it.
And at least it'll be interesting. At the very least, it'll
Yeah,
be really interesting.
yeah,
And
yeah,
that's cool. That's what you want from this sort of thing.
yeah. So
Um,
that's another miracle if it happens.
You've got a hard out. Otherwise, I
I
know that
have a
we
hard
could
out,
talk
yeah.
about this show forever. So I feel like we should wrap up here while we've had a good conversation, while we've proven to people that we do sometimes watch the show.
Yeah.
And like, let's get out of here, end on a high, and you can have 5 minutes downtime before you
To
gotta.
blow my nose.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Refill your drink, blow your nose, and
Yeah.
resettle. When are we back next? Are we back? We're doing a Star
Same
Wars
time.
episode next
Oh, yeah,
Wednesday.
yeah.
We got
Wednesday,
an
we're gonna
episode.
do Acolyte.
Yeah, so you can find me on Tuesday talking about tacos on Top 10 Tacos. You can find
Yeah.
Ralph and I live on Wednesday to talk about the Acolyte trailer, which everyone should have seen by now. If you haven't, go and watch it. You've got plenty of time.
Yeah,
I'm going to be
watch it.
dissecting that thing. It's not going to be like our normal reactions. It's going to be me going deep on it.
Okay.
And we'll be back Thursday, same time next week for Invincipod. So, yeah, potentially 3 days of listening to my voice. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine. Hopefully I'll be healed by then. I should be good.
Yeah, you should be good.
Sarah says tacos.
Hey.
Yeah, we need to get you guys. We need to get you guys over here.
Stevie's
already starting to make a list.
Amazing. Oh, I'm very excited.
Yeah.
We're looking at it. We're going to be looking at it for hopefully towards the end of the year.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
If not, maybe early next year. But yeah, there are plans and machinations.
Yeah.
Cool.
Great. We'll have a list.
Yeah.
I mean, we got to get you something. You can't just eat only tacos, but we'll come up with a good list.
Well, I mean, if we're in California, we're definitely going to Galaxy's Edge as well, so we can have some other food there. I'll have a Ronto wrap is kind of a taco.
It kind of is.
I mean, I don't know. Yeah, they look it.
I mean, what a great episode that would be, though.
Yeah,
just to talk about Ronto wraps. No Mars.
I'll do it. Like no.
Blue milk.
No, I thought we can do cocktails. We can talk about other cocktails. Yeah, we might be able to do it. But yeah, that's a different podcast where we can talk about things like that.
Right.
This podcast is Invincipod, and we are going to be back next Thursday, 5 p.m. GMT, and then our times will be back to normal for you.
I think it's different still. I think your time, because I put it in the calendar. Yeah. Your time happens on the 31st.
Does it? I thought it was this weekend.
I looked it up. Google told me it was the 31st. Right.
But I don't know, it's a weird.
I mean, month. All you have to do is hit the bell icon on our YouTube, and it'll tell you when.
Yeah, the best thing about all of our socials and everything is no matter who's putting it in, it does the translations based on where you are. So you're safe. Just hit those bells. We're those guys now.
Yeah.
Hit the bells, like, subscribe, review. Yeah.
Be nice.
Cool. Be nice. Yeah. You don't have to do any of that. Just be nice.
Yeah.
Until next week, everybody. Thanks for joining us, and we'll be back with another episode of